Okay, AP Statistics, we are going to revisit example 3 in this video, and this time I'm going to show you how to find the answers using the chart and z-scores. So in other words, this is a paper and pen method in which you do not need a calculator or the use of Staplet. So I just want you to have another tool in your tool belt. So we are going to revisit each of these problems and find the answers using the chart. So the first thing I want you to notice is the fact that I have left all of my original work in these problems, because no matter how you solve the problem, you still need to have your graph, you still need to have your inequality. The only thing that changes now is that we also have to calculate a z-score. So I am going to go through each of these problems and calculate the z-score. So for this particular problem on part A, I want the probability that x is less than 110. So my z-score would look like this: 110 minus the mean of 100 over the standard deviation of 16. And that is going to give me a positive 0.625. Okay, so now I'm going to use the chart to find the area associated with that standard deviation. I want you to notice something practically here. Remember when we talked about in the other video about z-scores, what they mean. This tells me that 110, the value of 110 for IQ, is 0.625 standard deviations above the mean. I know it's above the mean because it's positive, and I know that it's less than 1 standard deviation because it's below the value of 116. So keep that in mind. Just think logically about it. It will help you it'll help you understand it a little bit better if you're thinking of it in context that way. So we need to look at our chart. So I'm going to switch to the chart here. Okay, this chart is available to you. It is in your module in Canvas under Basic Information. It is called Table A, Z-Scores, or Z-Chart maybe, I can't remember. Anyway, so this will be available to you on your AP test. Everybody gets one of these. So the first thing I want to remind you of is that when you're using the chart, it does have some limitations. And the very first thing we need to talk about is the fact that the z-scores that are available to you on here are limited to 2 decimals. So z-scores must be 2 decimal places. Okay, and what does that mean for the z-score we just found? Well, we found a positive 0.625. So here's what we're going to do. I am just going to round it to 0.63. Okay, and we're going to scroll down here because notice these are all negative values. So we're going to scroll down to the positives. So positive 0.63. Why 2 decimals, Miss Griggs? Well, notice how this chart works. To the left here, we've got some values, and then up here, we've got some values. So I'm going to find 0.6. Here it is. So the .0's at the top tell me the second decimal place. So if I'm looking for 0.63, I'm not looking for 0.60, 0.61, or 0.62. I am looking for 0.63. So that is this value right here. Okay, the second thing we need to pay attention to with the chart. Okay, second limitation here. The chart only gives areas to the left of the value. So for this particular problem that we're doing, okay, it's less than 110, so we're good to go. We don't have to think about it. So 0.7357 is going to be my answer. So I'm going to go back over here. So your area would be 4.7357. It's not going to be exactly the same as it is when you use a calculator or Staplet, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. If you've got your z-score and that value, that's going to work perfectly. All right, so part B is very similar. It's just below again. So all of these below values are going to work the same way on the chart. The only thing you may want to practice is, finding your z-score. So for this particular problem, you get negative 1.25. So when you're looking at your chart, negative 1.2, find that. And then you're going to go over to 5. So 0.05. So I'm just going to use arrows here. It's easier that way. And that's going to be 0.1056. And look, it's the same for that one. All right. Okay, this is important. We need to look at C because it's different. It's above. This will change things. So I'm going to find my z-score. Notice that it is the same z-score as you got on part B. It's just positive because 120 is the same distance away from 80. Magic. So I'm going to look up positive 1.25. Why do I keep doing that? All right, so on my chart, oops, wrong direction. 1.2 is right here, and 0.05 is right here, so that gives me 0.8944. All right. We've hit a snag. That's not the same thing. That is because this time I want the area to the right, and the chart will only give me this area. So what I have to do is I have to subtract that from 1, and then I get the answer I should have. All right, so that's the deal with the chart. That's what you have to pay attention to. All right, let's do it again. Let's do part D. Z-score, 90 minus 100 over 16 gives me negative, oh man, negative 0.625. So I'm going to just round that to negative 0.63. So I'm going to scroll up here, negative 0.6, and then 3 would be right here. So 0.10. Oh, that's not right. Oh, I didn't go far enough. What a spaz. Okay, that's what I meant. 0.2643. Geez Louise. All right, so I'm going to have to subtract from 1 because the 0.2643 is actually right here, not right here. So 1 minus 0.2643 will give me 0.7357. Neato speedo. It's magic. All right, for parts E and F, I'm just going to do one of them. Excuse me. Goodness. All right, so for these, you're going to have 2 z-scores. Don't freak out. But we want to freak out, Miss Griggs. We're really good at it. I know. Okay, so it should make sense to you that you're getting the same z-score, one's negative and positive, because 95 and 105 are the same distance from the mean. They don't always have to be the same. They're not the same down here in part F, but I just want you to use a little common sense here. All right, so what is happening here? Okay, I wrote the wrong thing. It's 0.31, sorry. All right, so what's happening here is I can get 2 areas. If I look up both of these areas, here's what it's going to give me. When I look up the area for negative 0.31 at 95, it's going to give me this area right here. Well, I don't need that area, but that's the area that it's going to give me. So I am going to go ahead and look that up. So negative 0.31 So that is going to be this column right here. So 0.3783. And then at positive 0.31, that is going to give me the area of all of that, including the first area that I found. So positive 0.31 is 0.6217. Alrighty, so how are we going to find just this area that I want? Well, I'm going to take that large area of 0.6217 because it's everything to the left of 105, and I'm going to subtract from it that little area to the left of 95 because I don't want that part. And that is how you do that. Magic!